Today on Variant, it's One Punch Man versus the Hulk. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I'm excited about James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader once again in Rogue One. I'm your host, Aris Quinones. Now, it's been a little while since I've done a Versus episode, so I thought it was time that be remedied. And today's battle is a battle of all-out bronze, just pure power and strength, with two of the most powerful characters in fiction going up against one another. Saitama, aka One Punch Man, versus the Jade Giant, the Hulk. Actually, each character is argued amongst fans to be the most powerful character in fiction, which makes this an epic battle. But that's enough talk. Let's see how these two characters stack up against one another. Before I get into their powers, let's take a brief look at both characters' origins, starting with Saitama, aka One Punch Man. As a lot of you may know, One Punch Man was originally a manga, but eventually got his own anime series, which is actually why I got into the character. The series is awesome. The story focuses on Saitama, a jobless man looking for work after being repeatedly fired from other jobs due to his laziness. But one day he ran into this freakish monster crab man thing and ends up saving a young boy, who has a massive butt chin, by the way. Now you may be asking why the boy has a massive butt chin. Well, the answer is simple, because why the heck not? Anyway, Saitama liked the feeling of saving the boy, so it inspired him to become a hero. From that day on, Saitama trained so hard he went bald. His workouts consisted of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and running over 6 miles every day. And somehow this led to his amazing powers, which just pisses me off, because I've done Insanity and I got nothing. Like nothing at all. Anyway, Saitama's insane training led him to become One Punch Man. Now I know that doesn't really make any sense, like whatsoever, but it's not supposed to. The character in the entire series is meant to be over the top and ridiculous, which is the main reason why I like it. It's just fun. So that's how Saitama got his powers, but now let's take a look at how the Hulk got his. I'm pretty sure nearly everyone and their grandma knows how Bruce Banner became the Hulk, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, because well, that's what I do. But also because I told you One Punch Man's origin, and I like to keep things even. Blast my OCD, but let's not focus on the negative here, guys. Bruce Banner became the Hulk when he was testing a gamma bomb that he made for a military base he was working for. The base was under the command of General Thunderbolt Ross, who later became the Red Hulk and of course is the father of Bruce Banner's lady friend Betty Ross. During a countdown for a test detonation of the gamma bomb, Banner spotted a teenager named Rick Jones who snuck onto the testing area. Banner tells his assistant to pause the countdown while he goes save the boy. But his assistant didn't like Banner, so kaboom, gamma radiation explodes all around and onto Dr. Bruce Banner. Banner somehow survives, but starts feeling sick, which of course leads to him transforming into the Hulk for the very first time. And I think we all get the idea from there. Anywho, let's talk about what each of these characters are capable of, starting with the big green guy. The Hulk's primary power is his incredible strength. He can lift around 100 tons when calm, but as the saying goes, the madder the Hulk gets, the stronger he gets. Meaning, in times of increased stress or anger, an increase in the Hulk's adrenaline causes his strength to increase exponentially. But I will add that the Hulk's strength has never been shown to have a ceiling, so it's assumed his strength is limitless. This also applies to the rest of the Hulk's abilities, not just his strength, so if pushed far enough, the extent of his power is really limitless. To prove that point, here are some examples showing the Hulk's incredible strength. The Hulk once lifted an entire mountain range to save himself and the Avengers, and this wasn't a singular mountain range, people, it was an entire mountain range that weighed 150 billion tons, and it was said to dwarf the Andes. There was another situation where the Hulk became so strong he broke the world with a single step. His one step, again, one step tore Manhattan apart and almost sank the entire East Coast. In yet another insane display, just the Hulk summoning his power destroyed half of the east side of Las Vegas. He hadn't even moved yet. That is absolutely insane and just one of the reasons that he was dubbed World Breaker Hulk. The Hulk is so strong he can travel miles in a single jump. He's even made it into the Earth's atmosphere with a single jump. The Hulk has also one of the best healing factors in the Marvel Universe. It's one of the fastest working healing factors as well. For example, during a battle with Vector, Vector disintegrated like 90% of the Hulk's skin and body mass, but the Hulk still managed to knock Vector out and then regain all of his body mass almost instantly. The Hulk has more powers and abilities, but I think you guys get the point, so let's move on to Saitama. Saitama's physical strength is well above the 100-ton range, but is also seemingly limitless. He is able to easily defeat extremely powerful monsters and villains with a single punch. But it should be noted his strength isn't limited to his punches. His punch is so ridiculously strong that most of his enemies just simply explode when his fist meets their face. He can also destroy walls, buildings, or any other massive structures with ease. Saitama once launched himself from the top of a building and blasted himself right through a meteor the size of a freaking city. When one of his opponents launched him from Earth to the moon, he used his jumping power to leap back to Earth in just seconds, which caused all kinds of tremors and massive shockwaves. It wasn't a pretty situation, but it was awesome nonetheless. Either way, he jumped from the moon back to Earth. That is insane, people. In addition to his strength, he also has super speed. He can travel at roughly Mach 8, which I believe converts to just over 6,000 miles per hour. Meaning he's no Flash, but he's incredibly quick nonetheless. It's also safe to say that he has a sixth sense, as he's able to dodge danger even though he hasn't seen it yet. It's like his version of a spider sense. He also has serious series attacks. These are basically just moves that he uses when he's getting serious in a fight. He can normally throw a casual punch to defeat his enemies, so just imagine what a serious move can do. That's a bit of a tongue twister, I know. Even with everything we know about Saitama, including the stuff I didn't mention, we still don't know the full extent of his powers and abilities yet. He's extremely strong and meant to be crazy overpowered, and just like over the top in general. With all that said, it's time for me to tell you guys who I think would win. In all honesty, I really don't know, and that's not me just not wanting to choose a side. You guys know I always pick who I think would win at the end of Versus episodes before I let you guys vote on who you think would win. I'm just really not sure this time. It's a really good matchup, and I feel like it could go either way. However, I will say I think I'm leaning towards Saitama winning, but that's purely because he's a parody character. In other words, he's a trope for all American superheroes and even anime heroes like Goku and Naruto. So he's supposed to be all-powerful and beat anyone with just one punch. Hence, One Punch Man. He's also yet to be defeated because again, the whole point of the character is that he's unbeatable, which is why he's fun yet ridiculous, but in a good way. But on the flip side, Hulk can lift 150 billion tons, and just the summoning of Worldbreaker Hulk's power almost sank Las Vegas. Not to mention, if Saitama pissed off the Hulk bad enough, it could potentially push Hulk to a whole new level. So yeah, I'm really not sure. It's really kind of a toss-up. I feel like this matchup is like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. But either way, it's fun to talk about. Plus, Versus episodes aren't just about my opinion, they're about yours as well. So head over to our Variant Facebook page where you can cast your vote on a poll we posted there asking who you think would win in this fight. So go cast your vote, and we'll post who you guys decided the winner is in the description of next week's episode. When you buy a domain name from Domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and easy to use. The guys at Domain.com gave Variant an awesome offer. Get 15% off Domain.com's already affordable domain names and web hosting when you use the coupon code Variant at checkout. So when you think domain names, think Domain.com. Did you know Namor the Submariner was the first superhuman character to fly in comic books? Most people think it was Superman, who first appeared in comics in 1938, but at the time he only had super strength, invulnerability, and could jump 1/8 of a mile. His ability to fly first showed up in his 1940s radio series and then officially in comics in 1941. Submariner, however, in Marvel Comics 1 in 1939 was able to fly, beating the Man of Steel by 2 years. Now, some people might want to argue that in some of these panels he's leaping, but in others, it's pretty safe to assume that he's full on flying. I mean, what else are those wings on his ankles for? First up for Wednesday, June 29th, we have Teen Titans Annual Issue 2. A rare night off for the Teen Titans turns into disaster when partygoers begin to mutate into bizarre, uncontrollable animals. Here we have Captain Marvel Issue 6. As war erupts, Carol finds herself at the forefront of battle. But after tragedy hits too close to home, how far will Carol go to fight for what she believes in? And finally, we have Captain America Steve Rogers Issue 2. This is the first issue after the big reveal that Steve Rogers has been a Hydra agent all along. Needless to say, I'm extremely curious to see what happens. And that brings another episode of Variant to a close. But remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You could also follow Variant on Twitter at Variant Comics or me on Twitter at Eris_Quinones. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. Hama got his powers, but now let's take a look at how the Hulk got his. My grandmother knows how Bruce Banner became the Hulk, but I'm gonna tell you again anyway. It's also safe to say that he has a sixth sense.
Just happened to you there.
I'm voguing. I'm voguing.
I got it.
Blue Steel.